Today, what I want to talk about is shadow IT, and is it the right battle to fight? I understand this topic is a little bit more controversial than some of my other topics. Most IT people truly hate shadow IT. It doesn't follow the rules, creates unsupported solutions, and overall makes IT look bad. I get it. I really do. But at the end, shadow IT isn't a root cause problem. It's a symptom, perceived or real, of something going on with IT and business alignment. Either IT is not being responsible for this area, or at least thought of not to be responsible for this area. Marketing and engineering commonly have done things on their own in many of the areas I've worked in, and they don't think IT is involved. Maybe IT is perceived or real, too busy to address these issues. They're working on the big ERP migration. They can't work on this little small thing that we have to have this month. Not having a solution. I've had one organization that didn't allow anyone to use a shared cloud solution for sharing files. They didn't have another solution for the business to use, so the business did it anyway, no matter what policy or whatever IT wanted to do. So if you don't have a solution, guess what? They're going to do it anyway. And lastly, it may be that IT is not seen as responsive as a partner to the business. This is an important one. If you got this, you've got to address that real problem. If it's perceived, you got to get to the communication. That's where the advantage is. You've got to take a look at it. You have to understand, like Jurassic Park, where life will find a way, the business has needs and wants, and it too will find a way, sometimes not in the way that IT likes. Consider, if your issues are real, you have to address them, because these are major problems with IT alignment. If you're not doing this, you're not working with the business the way you should. You've got to be able to do it. If it's perceived, can be simply handled by communication, better communication with people to understand what IT is and is not responsible for, that we're here to help and we can do it, that we have enough resources to address. You have to take a look at these, but don't try to address shadow IT as a problem. Try to address the root cause problems that create shadow IT in the first place. And at the end, really, shadow IT can be very beneficial. We've all seen it. Microsoft and other people are coming up with tools and have coined citizen developers, which are especially, these tools are designed for people within the business to create workflows and user interfaces to do things by themselves without IT's involvement. So we've got these things out there, and there's a reason why, because some organizations are embracing shadow IT. They need to expand their limited resources. They want it to address the needs that help the local business and get quick wins. Lastly, and I didn't include in the note, but I should, is innovation. This is seen as one of those ways people can innovate by trying something different that you may or may not have the time to be able to be involved in. Though there are many problems to address, you can embrace shadow IT. You can do that by doing a couple of things. You have to establish and communicate best practices. The biggest challenge with shadow IT is they don't know what we know. So they don't know what's the right way and the wrong way to do it. So we have to communicate and make sure that people see it. You have to ensure that the support model is well understood. People can't just create applications and not have a support model to do it. We don't allow it within IT. We've got to think about this as well as what we're doing within the business and whether or not we have the resources to support what's going on. Most importantly, you have to implement governance, especially in the front end and the back end. In the front end, I mean, what is being worked on? You still have to have a system where you're looking at these applications and solutions and making sure that they fit into whatever enterprise framework that you have in place. I had an example where somebody wanted to use Power Apps to create a whole HR application. Well, we had a global HR system, and that's the one we should be working on, not having somebody do something in Power App, which they weren't going to be able to use long term anyway, wasting all their time and causing all sorts of problems down the road. So that's front end. Back end, quality control. if we're going to do this and we're going to do it right, we have to make sure that the package is going to be usable and fits within the same quality we're doing with IT. Now, yes, you can address it and make sure there are standard applications that fit through a big governance process and are very high quality, and things that are less following this process and use at your own risk. There are challenges with that because the business could end up wasting a lot of time on these things that are not supported properly, and they become more and more important, and you still don't have a good support model. Lastly, and more importantly, is communicate. The biggest challenge with shadow IT is that we don't communicate enough. We don't like them, therefore we don't talk to them. They don't ask us questions because they know we don't like them. In fact, they're trying to do it so we don't know they're there. By communicating and building this up as an organization, you can get very, very powerful value out of them and be perceived as a great partner. So even if you don't go for shadow IT right now and you can't accept that, my biggest advice to you is address the real problems. Don't try to outlaw shadow IT. It's a waste of time. Go after the root causes that we discussed earlier of what causes shadow IT, and that will be the best way forward to reduce its impact on your business. If these real problems can't go away, maybe you have to take a look at embracing shadow IT because they may be one of your solutions. Think about it.